Let's talk Ohio State football and that dominant win over the Indiana Hoosiers. This game was very lopsided. Ohio State winning by 47 points. They even got a safety on Indiana. The rain did not benefit Indiana's offense, but this game was the definition of a blowout. And if you compare the Indiana-Michigan State game to this current game, this is the reason that I had Ohio State so drastically ahead of Michigan State, even though Michigan State is undefeated and Ohio State is not. And I will say that Indiana has no offense, and I will say that their defense is not the greatest by any means. Even after that Michigan State game, I told Spartan fans and everyone, it's like, hey, Indiana just has an above-average defense, and that shows that an above-average defense with good coaching can stop Michigan State's offense. It can't stop Ohio State's offense, though. Ohio State's offense is far above and beyond Michigan's offense, Michigan State's offense, far above and beyond anyone in the Big Ten's offense. We'll get to how it might be the best offense in the country later. CJ Stroud leads in current quarterback rating. He threw 21 of 28 attempts for 266 yards. That could have been a lot more, and 4 touchdowns. Treveyon Henderson led on the ground with 9 carries for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ohio State also benefited from, the safety, Emeka Egbuka returning some, pretty beautiful punts. And Ohio State just played really solid football. Jaxon Smith-Njigba also led in receiving yards, 6 receptions for 99 yards. Mayan Williams was seen in the game with 8 carries. Teague did not get any carries. I don't know if he was injured or just didn't play. But Evan Pryor actually got the primary amount of carries, 11 for 48 yards. And he was put in, I think, after halftime, because at halftime, Ohio State was already up 44-7. And I was laughing because a Michigan State fan in a football group chat that I'm in, when Indiana responded, they're like, you were making fun of Michigan State for struggling against Indiana, and here Ohio State's defense is struggling. And I'm like, just wait. Ohio State is going to at least win this game by a few touchdowns. They are not Michigan State. And they did. And the State fans said the exact same thing about Michigan when they were struggling against Northwestern. And Michigan ended up blowing out Northwestern. Honestly, Indiana is not that. It's not a great team by any means. But this blowout, this is not me ripping Indiana or anything. This game just showed us what Ohio State is. Ohio State is a legitimate team. They are a national contender. And, after that drive in the first half, there's no point even talking about the game flow because it got out of control after the first quarter. And this game just proves that Jack Tuttle and the Indiana QB situation is an absolute mess. And there's nothing to disprove that. So now, time for the takeaways. So the concerns are non-existent, which might shorten this video, but there's no concerns whatsoever. The only concern Ohio State has right now, and I don't think Ohio State will even, this won't even matter until the Michigan State and Michigan games, because Penn State, after that Illinois loss, you should blow them out in a pretty similar fashion. Anyway, Ohio State has played nobody outside of Oregon, and Oregon beat them. Now, I do think that Ohio State and Oregon, if they rematched, Ohio State would win by double digits. Nonetheless, it would be a greater challenge. Ohio State has played nobody that is close to them in talent or close to them in any way outside of Maryland, who might be somewhat close in offensive explosiveness and QB play. And we all know Maryland has far inferior coaching and is still far inferior when it comes to talent, despite the fact they have some 4 stars and even 5 stars. Ohio State has played nobody who can even come close to their league. Penn State was supposed to be that. Penn State isn't that. Penn State just lost to Illinois, a team that I don't even think my own coach in Jim Harbaugh has lost to. It's a whole new low. Penn State, I almost find it heresy that they're still ranked. So Ohio State still will not be tested. They won't face the best teams in their conference until late November in Michigan State and Michigan, and we will find out which two will be the tougher team this upcoming Saturday, the 30th, where Michigan and Michigan State have an undefeated matchup. That's the only concern, is the strength of schedule and looking forward to the playoff race. But that isn't even a concern in the present. There are no present concerns. Ohio State right now is a top 4 team. The undisputed top 4 team. I have them ranked in my own top 4. And they can contend for 3rd, 2nd, 4th. I think Georgia's the unanimous number 1. But Ohio State looks really good. And this is the best offense in the country. This offense is elite, filled with NFL talent at every position, from the offensive line to the tight end position, the running back position, the QB position, the wide receiver position. It doesn't matter whether you're Jaxon Smith-Njigba, whether you're Teague or Henderson, even Teague, who is, Ohio State fans kind of rip him in their own regard to be somewhat bad. Wouldn't be shocked if he got drafted. I wouldn't be at all, or at least had some tryout opportunities with NFL teams and was an undrafted free agent. Ohio State just has so much. They are littered with NFL talent everywhere on that offense. And the defense, I looked at the Indiana game, and the defense isn't even a concern, but it is not even comparable to the efficiency and execution of this offense. This offense is the ultimate strength of this team. The ultimate one. This offense, there's not a lot of teams scoring 60, 70, 50 points this year. It's just not happening. There's not a lot of 80 to 10 blowouts like we've seen with some bigger teams. Ohio State's one of the teams that's consistently, hanged 50 to 60 points in consecutive weeks. This offense might be, you had 2019 LSU, 2020 Bama. I don't know if this offense is necessarily as good as those two, but it's certainly, it's certainly a fair successor in the lineage of, 3 great offenses in a row. If we are to count this one, Henderson is untackleable. Unless you get him right at the line of scrimmage, he just takes off, jukes you out, spins you out, breaks your ankles in for the end zone. He's an explosive back. Might be the best in the country, and he's a true freshman. The only reason Henderson isn't a Heisman candidate compared to Stroud is because they pull Henderson out even earlier. He is insane. Henderson is a beast among men. Absolute beast. And Stroud is an obvious Heisman candidate. I'd say him, Young, Corral is still how it is. I think, with the running backs, if Henderson got more carries, maybe. Sean Tucker, as a running back, currently leads the nation in rushing yards with 8 games. It's just over 1,000. And Kenneth Walker's going to face better defenses, and I don't think he has a good enough O-line to help him win. I'd say it's between Stroud, Young, and Corral right now for, Heisman winner. And Stroud has the better wide receiver core, I'd say, out of all of them. And, better running backs. Ohio State right now just has the better offense. And with the teams that they face, too, they have an easier, I'd say, especially after that Penn State game, probably an easier path than, Alabama or Ole Miss do. They're going to put up better numbers I mean, still looking at this, we talked about this in the preview for this game. Ohio State could have 3 1,000-yard receivers. And, last night, Garrett Wilson only had 60 receiving yards. Chris Olave only had 24. So there wasn't a lot of, passing yards or rushing yards. This wasn't an insane game, an insane stat patter for a lot of the top guys. A lot of second stringers and probably even some third stringers. Even Jack Miller got some playing time, got snaps, and had opportunity to throw, catch, run the ball, whatever you name it. But Stroud, nonetheless, has opportunities to put up massive numbers. And I think he's third in the nation in touchdown passes. I don't know. No, sixth, pardon me. I don't know who could be in front of him. He's first in quarterback ranking, and he is tied for 16th for passing yards. And finally, perhaps the most important takeaway for Buckeye fans, because we all knew the offense heading into this year would be good. The defense. Now again, let me say, and I say this with Michigan too, so don't think I'm being biased against your team. I always criticize or try to, say reasons as to why maybe some of these takeaways they don't matter as much as maybe I make them out to be. Indiana's offense is next to lifeless, and we saw that against Michigan State because Michigan State's defense outside of their D-line is not that great. Indiana still barely could put up points against them. However, it is important, no matter how bad the offense is, that Ohio State restricted this team to 7 points and 128 yards of offense. That is important. Ohio State had 31 first downs to Indiana's 10. That's important. You build off of that. I don't care if you're facing Akron. Ohio State allowed 20 points to Tulsa. They allowed, honestly, 31 points to a Minnesota offense who, in retrospect, was horrible without Ibrahim. And they got outscored by an Oregon offense who is just not modern. That's the politest way I can put it. They're not the most modern offense by any means. This defense is improving, allowing only 7 points and 128 offensive yards. And they got to Indiana's QB several times. Ohio State, 5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss. It was absolutely crazy. It's insane. I mean, I couldn't even, just watching that game. I know Indiana, again, they don't have the best offense or O-line, but Ohio State's D-line is active. They are active. They are aware. They will casually toss your offensive line if it is not prepped and if it is not talented. Their defensive line is insane. And as a Michigan fan here, looking at my team and Ohio State's team, I can confidently say Michigan's a great team. Michigan is a contender for the Big Ten. Ohio State is not only a contender for the Big Ten, unlike my team at the moment, they're a contender for the national title. This team has to be taken seriously. I don't care if you're Michigan State, Michigan, Alabama, everyone. This team has to be taken seriously. No matter how much criticism, how weak of a schedule or record that they have thus far, even though they don't have ranked wins, this team is coming into full form. We'll learn more about them through the upcoming schedule because all the Big Ten schedules are backloaded. But Ohio State, congratulations to you. You had a great win. My team and your biggest rival had a great win. And this is important. And I am hoping that November 27th, I am hoping that that is for the East and that will be the game to end all games. That's all I have to say for this video. If you liked it, remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and comment your thoughts down below. What did you think of this game as a Buckeye fan or as any other fan? Do you think that Ohio State is moving in the absolute right direction and that they'll win the East? Or is there something that you don't think I'm catching on to or that others are even missing? Do you see any... do you think that Ohio State still isn't the favorite to win the Big Ten? Do you think there's a team that can challenge them? Comment your thoughts down below. I love having discussion. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.